لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم عليه. All praises of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator, controller of this entire cosmos, and may the choicest blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon our Nabi, Nabiullah, Habibullah, Sarkar Madina, Ruh Hasina, Nabi Kareem, Rauf Rahim, Rahmatan lil Alameen, Sayyidul Mursaleen, Khatam al-Nabiyyin, Imam al-Anbiya, Ahmad Mujtaba, Muhammad Arabi, Muhammadur Rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa barak wa sallam. Brothers, sisters, elders, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.
Alhamdulillah, I thank the organizers for putting together this wonderful event, and mashallah ta'ala focusing on the children in the ummah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And I'm really happy that the sort of topic chosen for this particular event is surrounding the tarbiyya of children in light of the prophetic practice, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You know, the investment we put into children today is extremely important, because the children of today are the future for tomorrow. And had we, as people of this age and this era, if we had properly understood this and encapsulated this, then we would have had today strong forces in the ummah of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We would have had strong ummatis walking the streets, embodying the sunnah of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you know, I personally believe one of the sort of greatest sort of global crises that we have is the fact that we don't raise children properly, child rearing. This isn't proper in this day and age. I think that's one of the greatest, globally, that's one of the greatest problems. And you know, as Muslims, we weren't like this. We weren't like this. Our practices historically were very, very firm in this respect. But then we dwindled, we disintegrated as time went on. Things have changed now. You know, and you might be thinking, what went wrong? What's different now? I don't understand. You know, we've never heard of the ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ, you know, about raising children and focusing on education of children and, you know, the practices in the home. And, you know, and the reason for that is because what's happened is we've changed as a people. We've come away from the Quran. We've come away from the study of Islam. And now, the people, you know, we're more concerned with, worldly practices and, you know, acquiring great degrees, academic institutions, and making money and doing well in business. That's all we're concerned about. We're not concerned about Islam. And like in these days, people are struggling. They are struggling to deal with, you know, the ahkamat and, you know, ibadat. We just about, you know, encapsulate the topic. In fact, we're struggling to. I said to somebody the other day, you know, I use this commonly, by the way. I said to somebody the other day, you know, when they argue with me about Islam, you know, the first question I put to them, I said, tell me the rule of istinja. Tell me the rule of istinja. According to fiqh, the law. Because, you know, if you're claiming to be a self-proclaimed mufti, then I want to know, you know, before we go there, you tell me what the basics are. And very commonly, they'll say, look, you just throw water. But that, and I say, but that's not just the rule. There's more than that. What's the Islamic rule on this, right? And don't worry. Some of you look terrified because I've said this. There's no sharm in Shariat, right? In Shariat, there should be no sharm. This is what the ulama say, right? So we shouldn't be scared to discuss these are important issues. And then they don't know they don't know what the answer is. Then I say there's much more to it than that. There's a whole backdrop. There's massive chapters ulama have written, in order to teach us how to be clean, how to look after ourselves, how to perform these acts in accordance with the Sunnah of Rasulullah. But that's the reality. The point is, what I'm saying is that's the reality. We don't even know how to do wudu properly these days. Forget about raising children. This is something which is, far behind. We need to really go back to grassroots level first, and start at the basics and then build our way up. But I'll tell you this. In the past, the ulama, in these issues, what we struggle with, on basic ibadat, how to pray, how to do zakat, how to pay zakat, how to do all the rulings surrounding, the fiqh masail surrounding Ramadan and fasting and things like that. We're struggling with these at the moment, but in those days, in the time where Islam was at its peak, these were standard issues known to the people because they were practiced. That's why they were understood even further. They were practiced. And, alhamdulillah ta'ala, although, there's a lot of movements and efforts going back to that, what I want to tell you is, in the ulama of the past, this was an extremely important subject, how to raise children. Extremely important subject. And this was something which the ulama had written compendiums about. Great scholars of deen, they wrote chapters on education, chapters on how to raise children. They did lots of commentary on ahadith, where the Prophet ﷺ interacted with children from the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum. So, there's massive amounts of information for us there. But alhamdulillah, today we'll cover, in the time permitted, inshallah Aziz, I will introduce this to you. And I'm sure some of these things, the people who will be looking into this, they know about this. But inshallah Aziz, as this lecture develops, I'm sure and I hope that, I will open this doorway to sort of, as parents, and people who, even if you are not parents, tomorrow, with a view that you will become parents, inshallah, may Allah give us all the ability, and we raise those children in alignment with the nur of the Quran and Hadith. And when we do this, believe me, then you see the barakah in your homes. Then you see the barakah in your houses and in your families and your lives. And wallahi, a great alim once said, he said, the majority of trials and tribulations that we face as people, one of the main reasons for that is because we left the Quran, we left Islam, we don't pray. We are, these tribulations are happening, all this bad. My education from uneducated people. I learned my education from uneducated people. You may be thinking, what is he talking about here? But let me just expand on this. There's another quote. Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers of America, and he said, it's better that you do not read at all than reading the words from newspapers. He says it's better that you don't read at all than if you're just going to read from newspapers. Now, there's an underlying message that both of these are trying to reach here, and that is this, that, people who are taught from day one, read newspapers, study, go through the academic system. We live in a society these days that's very, very structured. We're taught from the outset, from school when we're young, believe this, we're taught what to believe, we're taught what to think, we're taught how to perceive things. Everything's so regulated, and they make you think, when you read a newspaper,